All right, let's get settled in. We are doing something a little different today.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, we're wading through these dense business reports or trying to make sense of the latest tech white paper.
Fixing for the signal and the noise.
Exactly. We're always trying to find that signal.
Me too.
But today,
Yeah.
today we are going straight to the noise.
Mm-hmm.
We are stepping into the fog.
And we mean that quite literally. We're going back to the key supers of late Victorian London.
Yes.
The gaslight, the hansom cabs, the cobblestones slick with rain and whatever else.
Exactly. We are looking at a really fascinating piece of source material today. It's a novel, The Frightened Man, by Kenneth Cameron.
Right.
Now, technically, this is fiction, but it is built on such a dense, gritty foundation of historical reality that it feels less like a novel and more like we've cracked open a cold case file from the year 1900.
I completely agree. It reads like true crime. And the premise is an absolute nightmare scenario.
It really is.
It's the ultimate what if. The premise is simple but just terrifying. What if Jack the Ripper didn't just vanish into history? What if, after 15 years of total silence, he came back?
That thought alone just sends a shiver down your spine.
Yeah.
But before we get to the monster, we have to set the stage.
Yeah.
Because the London in this book isn't the sanitized version you see in some period dramas.
Yeah.
It's not all tea and crumpets.
No, not at all. Cameron paints a picture of a city that is tired. It's 1900.
The turn of the century.
Right. The Victorian era is technically still happening, but just barely. Queen Victoria is old, she's fading, the Boer War is raging in the headlines, and it's not going well for the British.
So there's this national anxiety.
A deep national anxiety. And culturally, it's a dark moment, too. Oscar Wilde has just died in Paris.
Which feels like a huge symbolic shifting of gears, doesn't it?
It is. It feels like the death of the naughty 90s, that whole era of decadence and wit and art for art's sake. Now the party is over.
The hangover is setting in.
The hangover is definitely setting in, and there's a sense of decay. The city smells of coal smoke, of unwashed bodies, of drains that just don't work.
Boy.
And into this grim atmosphere steps our protagonist, Denton.
And Denton is, he is a piece of work.
He is.
He is not your typical British detective. He isn't Sherlock Holmes playing the violin in a silk robe, contemplating a three-pipe problem.
Oh, far from it. The text describes Denton as a paste-up of contradictions, which I think is just a brilliant phrase.
It's perfect.
It captures his fractured identity perfectly. He's an American living in London.
An outsider from the get-go.
Completely. He's a literary lion, a famous author who gets invited to all the fancy dinner parties. But his history is pure violence.
Let's unpack that resume because it is wild. He's a Civil War veteran, right?
He was a temporary lieutenant in the American Civil War.
No.
So right off the bat, he has seen industrial-scale slaughter. He has seen the absolute worst of what men can do to each other. After the war, he was a farmer.
On the freezing prairies.
Yeah, dealing with brutal isolation and even more brutal elements. And this was the key part of his psyche, I think, he was a U.S. Marshal in a town called Railhead, Nebraska.
Which he describes with a very colorful phrase in the text.
He does. 2 whorehouses and a dog.
That just
Yeah.
It really paints a picture. It's not exactly high society, is it?
No, not at all. It tells us that Denton understands law in a place where there is no civilization.
Low of the gun.
Basically. He understands survival. So when you put him in a velvet-lined parlor in London, surrounded by books and green lamps, he's like a wolf in a petting zoo.
Yeah.
He has this beak of a nose that the text says looks threatening, almost like a weapon in itself. He's physically formidable. He is not a gentleman amateur. He is a killer, a survivor, trying to play the part of a gentleman.
So we have this volatile, dangerous man trying to live a polite life. And then, one rainy night, the past comes knocking.
Or rather, a very specific nightmare comes knocking.
This is where we get into the first major segment of our breakdown. The visitor.
Right. So Denton is at home. He's in his parlor-cum-all-purpose room.
I love that description.
And again, the sensory details in the source material are just great here. The room smells of the fish he had for supper, Turkish cigarettes, and beeswax polish.
It feels real. Lived in.
Very. He's there with his manservant, Sergeant Atkins.
I want to pause on Atkins for a second because their dynamic is so good. It's not the subservient, yes, sir, right away, sir, thing you might expect.
Oh, not in the slightest. Atkins is the reality check. He's an ex-soldier, probably served in the colonies. He's cynical, he's grounded, and he gives as good as he gets.
He calls Denton general sometimes.
Yeah, but it's almost mocking. It's like he's making fun of Denton's past. He reminds Denton, this ain't a democracy, but he acts like he runs the place.
It feels like they're two veterans.
They are. Two men who have seen combat, trying to navigate a domestic life without killing each other.
So they're bickering, hanging out, probably bored out of their minds. And then the doorbell rings.
Enter Mulcahy.
The frightened man of the title.
Yeah. And the description of Mulcahy is just, it's visceral. The text calls him vaguely rodent-like.
Oof.
Small, nervous, malnourished. He is clutching a bowler hat like it's a life preserver.
That description, rodent-like, it almost dehumanizes him immediately, doesn't it? It's so dismissive.
It is, but it also places him firmly in the social hierarchy of the time. He looks like one of a million Britons who weren't fed properly as children.
So he represents the underclass.
The invisible people, the very people that Jack the Ripper preyed on 15 years earlier.
And he is terrified.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrified. He tells Denton he needs protection because he has seen the Ripper.
Yeah.
Now, be honest, if someone knocked on your door today and said, hey, I just saw a notorious serial killer from 15 years ago, what is your immediate reaction?
I would probably call the police. Or maybe a mental hospital.
Right.
And that is exactly Denton's reaction. He is skeptical. He's actually annoyed.
He's bothered by it.
Yeah. He notes in his internal monologue that Ripper stories pop up like daffodils in spring. It's been 15 years. The Ripper is a ghost story, a myth. Denton just thinks Mulcahy is a crank.
A publicity seeker.
Or just insane. But Mulcahy insists. He says, I know him. We were boys together.
And that's the hook. That's the thing that makes Denton pause.
This is the hook. He claims they grew up in a town called Ilkley. And he starts telling the story about their childhood. And this, for me, is where the book shifts from a mystery to a real psychological horror.
Because it's not just a simple story.
Because the story isn't just, oh, he was a mean kid. It is a clinical progression of psychopathy.
It starts with animals, right? That's always the first sign.
Always. It starts with rabbit snares, setting traps in the woods, but, and this is a key detail, catching nothing.
So it's about the act, not the result.
The intent, the desire for violence, even if he's incompetent at it, and then the escalation. He talks about a girl named Eleanor Grimble.
This part of the text was hard to get through. I mean, it is deeply disturbing.
It is, and it's meant to be. Mulcahy describes how the boy, the future Ripper, lured this girl into the woods. But here's the twist that Denton picks up on immediately.
Mulcahy's role in it.
Mulcahy wasn't just there. He was hiding. He was watching from the trees.
He was a voyeur.
Exactly. He watched the assault. He watched the boy cut her throat while she was still alive. And he watched the mutilation.
And Denton realizes something about Mulcahy in that moment. It's not just fear he's feeling. He is. Is he excited?
Yes, there is a sexual insane aspect to it. The book is very clear on this. Denton feels this wave of physical revulsion.
Like he's being led complicit.
The text says he felt like he was being forced to watch a man masturbate. He realizes that for Mulcahy, the terror and the thrill are totally intertwined. He is getting a perverse kick out of retelling this horror to a famous author.
It's that idea that trauma can sometimes warp you, make you complicit in this really weird, unsettling way.
Completely. But amidst this creepy storytelling, Mulcahy drops a specific, crucial detail, the aha moment.
The modus operandi.
The Emma Mulcahy describes exactly what the boy did to Eleanor Grimble. He didn't just kill her. He performed a specific mutilation aimed at removing the female organs.
Specifically the womb.
The womb. And that is a detail that separates the Ripper from a random thug.
Absolutely. A random mugger might cut a throat in a panic or a rage. But surgical or quasi-surgical removal of the womb, that is an obsession. That is a signature.
And Mulcahy claims that after that day in the woods, he ran, but he kept seeing it in the papers.
He mentions clippings from Europe, right? From Germany and...
Germany, France, Holland. The implication is that the Ripper didn't stop. He just moved. He went on a grand tour of murder.
And Mulcahy's been tracking him.
Or haunting him, or being haunted by him, for 15 years across the entire continent.
So Denton is sitting there listening to this, this rodent of a man tell this horrific but weirdly compelling story, trying to decide if he's completely crazy or not. And then snap.
It all breaks. Mulcahy panics.
What happens?
He looks at the window into the rainy street and just screams, "It's him!" And he bolts. He runs right out the door into the night, leaving that cheap bowler hat sitting there on the floor.
Wow. Just gone.
Gone. And Atkins, the practical one, says what anyone would say.
He's a crackpot.
He's a crackpot. He's just doing it for attention, getting his jollies.
Which is the most reasonable assumption.
It's the only reasonable assumption. But
Yeah.
Denton, you can tell Denton is unsettled. You can feel the atmosphere in the room change. The fog has literally entered the house.
Now, before we see where that leads, we need to understand why Denton is in the headspace to even entertain this darkness. Because the text pivots here to his personal life. And let's be honest, it is a train wreck.
It really is. Welcome to our second segment, the protagonist's crisis. If you thought the Ripper stuff was dark, just wait until you see Denton's love life.
It's bleak.
It starts with this really strange, violent scene. We have to talk about the Iron Mistress.
Yes. When I read that, I thought it was a metaphor for a gun or something.
It sounds like it, doesn't it? A pistol or a knife. But it's literal. It is a piece of exercise equipment. So strange.
Denton goes up to his attic, which is freezing cold, by the way, totally unheated. And he has this 40-pound iron bar and a massive dumbbell he calls the Iron Mistress.
And he doesn't just work out with it. He attacks it.
He exerts himself violently. The text describes him dragging the weight over his chest, pressing it until his muscles scream. It is not about fitness. It is about exorcism.
He's burning something off.
He is trying to sweat out the rage, the memories of the war, the boredom of London. It is his coping mechanism for being a dangerous man in a polite society.
And he needs it because he goes to see a woman named Emma Goston. And this scene, man, it is brutal.
It is cold-blooded. Emma is a wealthy, nice woman, upper class. Denton thinks they have a relationship.
He's invested.
He goes to her house expecting, well, intimacy, affection.
Yeah.
Instead, she sits him down in her parlor and just dumps him.
And she doesn't use the "it's not you, it's me" line.
No.
There's no letting him down easy.
No. She basically says, I found someone better, someone I prefer, and then she hits him with the ultimate insult.
What's that? Take it like a man.
Ouch. To a man like Denton, that must be like throwing gasoline on a fire.
That phrase triggers what the book calls the red blindness in Denton, the rage. He nearly loses it. He stands up. He's shaking. He calls her a whore.
And this is where the book makes a really profound point about class. We were calling it the irony of nice.
Yeah, let's unpack that.
Okay, so in Victorian society, Emma is nice. She is respectable, she has money, she moves in the right circles, but Denton realizes she treats people, specifically men, like disposable objects.
Like playthings.
She uses them for her pleasure and then discards them when she's bored. And in Denton's eyes that have seen the rough towns of Nebraska, she is morally identical to a prostitute. The only real difference is the setting and the price.
So the prostitute trades sex for money because she has to survive.
Right. It's a business transaction.
And Emma trades intimacy for amusement because she can. Because she's bored and wealthy.
Exactly. And Denton respects the prostitute more because she is honest about the transaction. Emma's cruelty is masked by politeness and class.
And that realization just sends him spiraling. He storms out of her house, full of this impotent rage.
And where does a man like that go? He goes to the Café Royal.
Which is the epicenter of Bohemian London. It's where all the artists and writers hang out. But tonight, it is a madhouse.
Why?
Because the news has just broken. Oscar Wilde has died.
Talk about setting the mood. The death of the ultimate wit.
It is chaotic. People are drunk, shouting, weeping. Some are toasting Wilde's genius. Some are cursing his name. It's the end of an era being played out in a smoky cafe.
And Denton is right in the middle of it.
Drinking heavily, shouting at strangers. He is trying to drown out the rejection from Emma, trying to lose himself in the noise.
So we have a protagonist who is emotionally gutted, physically dangerous, and completely wasted. He stumbles out into the rain. And this is where fate steps in.
Or coincidence.
Or whatever you want to call it. Segment 3, the crime and the coincidence.
It is the classic noir setup. He is standing there in the rain, miserable, probably can't even find a cab, and a newsboy shoves a paper in his face.
He buys it.
He buys it. And the headline cuts through the alcohol fog instantly.
Grisly murder in the Minories.
A young woman, Stella Minter, found mutilated. And as Denton reads the details, throat cut, abdominal mutilation, it is like a bell ringing in his head.
Because it's exactly what Mulcahy said.
It is word for word what Mulcahy told him just a few hours earlier. The signature is the same.
The timeline is just, it's impossibly tight. Mulcahy tells the story. Mulcahy runs. The murder happens.
Or maybe the murder had just happened and somehow Mulcahy knew about it. Either way, the connection is undeniable. It can't be a coincidence.
So the next morning, Denton wakes up with a hangover that the text describes in, well, in painful
Literally.
detail.
The Iron Mistress morning.
Right.
He has to drag himself to the attic to sweat out the poison from the night before, but his mind is just racing. He tells Atkins about the murder.
And Atkins, he's still a skeptic, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. Atkins looks at the bowler hat Mulcahy left behind.
The only clue.
The only clue. It's got the initials R. Mulcahy stitched inside, but it's a cheap, mass-produced hat. It's a dead end.
So Atkins just dismisses it.
He says, "It's just a coincidence, General. Don't get your knickers in a twist." He calls it bollocks.
But Denton can't let it go. Why? I mean, is it just that he wants to solve a puzzle? Or is it something deeper?
I think it is much deeper. The text mentions Denton contemplating the box.
The cause.
The coffin, yeah. He is thinking about mortality. He is thinking about his own dead wife, who died young back on the farm in America. He is thinking about Emma, who is now dead to him.
And he projects all that loss onto this dead girl.
Exactly. He projects all that loss onto Stella Minter. He feels a kinship with her. She is a victim of the same cruel, indifferent universe that has battered him his whole life. It's personal now.
So he decides to act. He decides he has to get involved. He goes to the police.
He does.
And here, we enter what I was calling the bureaucracy of murder. Because if you think the police are going to be thrilled to have an eyewitness account, you are very, very wrong.
Oh, this is my favorite part of the book's social commentary. It's so cynical and so true.
So he goes to Scotland Yard.
Or rather, the Metropolitan Police Additional Headquarters, and the building itself is a character.
How so?
It's Gothic, it's a prison-like fortress, it's confusing, a maze of corridors, it smells of coal smoke and drains. It is the physical embodiment of government incompetence and tedium.
Justice is not swift here.
Justice has to fill out a form in triplicate here.
And the people inside are even better. Let's talk about Hector Hentrose.
Oh, Hector, the assistant undersecretary. He is the perfect specimen of the useless aristocrat.
The upper-class twit type.
Completely. He is charming, he is affable, he loves talking about his shooting parties and how many grouse he bagged, but he knows absolutely zero about actual police work.
How does a guy like that get a high-ranking police job?
Cousins in the senior civil service? Nepotism, pure and simple. He is there because he is someone's nephew. He is, as you said, failing upward.
And then you have the guy who's actually doing the work, Detective Sergeant Monroe.
The perfect foil to Hector. Monroe is huge, working class. He walks with a limp because he fell off a roof chasing a suspect.
So he's paid his dues.
He is physically damaged by his job. And he hates Hector. He hates Denton. He hates all civilians, all amateurs who think they can do his job. He's full of contempt.
So Denton tells them, I have a witness, a man named Mulcahy. He predicted the murder's M.O., and Monroe just shuts him down. Why?
Jurisdiction. This is a technical detail, but it is absolutely crucial to the plot.
Okay.
London, even back then, had two major police forces. You had the Metropolitan Police, that's Scotland Yard, which covers most of the city. But the City of London, the financial district, the famous Square Mile, has its own private police force.
And they don't share information, they don't work together.
They are rivals, they hate each other, they compete for resources and glory. And the murder happened in the Minories, which is just inside the City of London border.
So Monroe sees a way out.
Monroe basically says, not my patch, not my problem, go talk to the city boys. He sends Denton to their headquarters.
To a guy named Willie.
Detective Sergeant Willie. Who's even worse than Monroe?
How is that possible?
He's territorial, he's defensive. He thinks Denton is a journalist looking for a scoop, or just some ghoul who wants to see a dead body. He refuses to share any details. He stonewalls him completely.
So Denton has the key to the entire case, but the door is locked by bureaucracy and professional jealousy.
Exactly. But you have to remember, Denton is an American.
He doesn't care about their rules.
He doesn't care about British protocol, and he knows how to use the system against itself. He goes back to Hector Hentrose.
The useless aristocrat.
Right. Hector might be useless at solving crimes, but he has influence. He has the grand stationery with the embossed letterhead.
Ah, the old boys network.
Precisely. He writes a note, a polite, dear boy kind of note, that gets Denton into the hospital.
Bartholomew's, Bart's.
Specifically into the autopsy room. Because in 1900, at a teaching hospital, an autopsy isn't a private medical procedure, it is a show.
It's public.
It's a performance. And this leads us to the autopsy segment, or as I was calling it, forensic theater.
That's a great name for it.
It really is theater. And this scene is the centerpiece of the section we're covering. It's incredibly vivid. Denton walks into the operating theater. It is steep, circular, like a gladiator pit.
Like the Colosseum?
Exactly. It is freezing cold. The text calls it Arctic. And the audience is packed.
And it's all men.
Entirely men. Medical students, doctors, journalists, probably some morbidly curious hangers-on.
And Denton notes the grim irony of
He
that.
does. The only woman in the room is the dead girl on the slab. She is completely exposed, completely vulnerable, surrounded by dozens of men in heavy coats who are there to judge and analyze her body.
It's an awful image, and the ringmaster of this circus is Sir Frank Parmentier.
The surgeon. The text calls him a theatrical egoist. He struts in, he is wearing his day clothes, a nice suit, but he pulls on these long rubber gloves that look like pirate gauntlets.
He's putting on a costume.
He is. And he announces, "I'm about to begin," like he's conducting an orchestra or starting a play.
It is grotesque.
It is. But, and this is the tension of the scene, he is also brilliant. He begins to read the body like a text. And this is where we get the absolute, undeniable confirmation that Mulcahy was telling the truth.
Okay, let's go through the evidence, and for you listening, this is where it gets graphic.
It has to. The violence is the point. First, Parmentier notes the victim, Stella Minter, is young. 16, maybe 17,
A child.
and malnourished. And
Oh.
she was lactating.
Oh, God. She had a baby.
Very recently. So we have this tragic image of a poverty-stricken child mother, probably a prostitute, now dead on a slab.
Then he moves to the wounds.
The throat wound. Parmentier notes it was cut from right to left and cut deeply. It struck the vertebra.
It wasn't a slash.
No, this wasn't a slash and a struggle. It was a calculated thrust and pull. It was an execution, done with immense force.
And then he finds the ridges. Explain that detail. It's chilling.
This is the detail that gave me chills reading it. On the skin of the neck, parallel to the cut, there are bruises or ridges. Parmentier deduces that the knife was a large clasp knife. The killer thrust it in so violently, so deeply, that the bolsters, the metal fittings at the end of the knife handle, slammed into her skin and left a mark.
That implies incredible force and just sheer rage.
Absolute ferocity. But the clincher, the thing that connects it all, is the abdomen. Parmentier describes a crude hacking hole. The killer attempted to excise the womb.
To remove the most female parts of the body.
Exactly. It matches Mulcahy's story about Eleanor Grimble perfectly. The rabbit snares, the woods, the specific obsessive mutilation. It is the same signature. The Ripper is back.
Denton is watching this through opera glasses, which feels so detached.
It's a mechanism of detachment, isn't it? He's trying to keep a distance. He is watching the control of the English men in the room. They're all stoic. They don't flinch. They treat it like a pure science experiment.
He finds that strange.
He finds their lack of emotion alien, maybe even repelling. He forces himself to look to verify Mulcahy's story, but you can feel him fighting his own nausea, his own connection to the violence.
He is confirming that the monster is real, and not just a story a crazy man told him.
And he's confronting the end result of the irony of nice we talked about. Stella Minter, the not nice girl, is dead on a table. Emma Gosden, the nice girl who is so cruel, is safe and warm in her parlor. The only difference is luck and money.
So where does this leave us at the end of these opening chapters? We have a key witness who has vanished into the fog.
Right.
A police force that is completely blind, tangled up in its own red tape. And a protagonist who is teetering on the edge of sanity himself, who's the only one who knows the truth.
It leaves us with a perfect noir setup. Denton is the only one who sees the pattern. He's the outsider. He is not bound by the class rules of Hector Hench-Rose or the jurisdictional rules of Sergeant Monroe. He is a hunter.
But he is a damaged hunter. And maybe that's what it takes.
Well, that is the key question the text leaves us with, isn't it? The final provocative thought. The narrator asks, how mad was Mulcahy now? Mulcahy seemed completely crazy, but every single detail he gave was right. So was his fear madness, or was it a kind of hyper-awareness? Was he seeing the world more clearly than anyone else?
And what does that say about Denton?
That is the bigger, more dangerous question. To catch a monster like the Ripper, a man of pure, chaotic, obsessive violence, do you need a detective who understands that violence on a personal level?
Do you have to be a little bit of a monster to catch one?
Do you need a man who shoots pistols in his attic and works out his rage by attacking a block of iron? Does his own capacity for violence make him a better detective? Or does it bring him dangerously close to the mindset of the killer he is hunting?
It is the Nietzsche quote, "When you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you."
Denton is staring right into the abyss, and the abyss is holding a knife with a handle that leaves ridges on the skin.
That is a terrifying thought to end on. But it really highlights why this book, The Frightened Man, is so much more than just a thriller. It's a mirror held up to a broken society.
Absolutely. It shows us that the monsters aren't always just hiding in the shadows. Sometimes they are created by the very world we live in, by the poverty, the class cruelty, the systemic indifference. The fog isn't just in the air, it's in people's souls.
Well, I think I am going to need to watch a comedy or something after this. That was heavy, but incredibly insightful.
It was a journey. The fog is thick in this one, but I think we cleared a path through it.
We certainly did. Thanks for guiding us through the darkness. And to you, our listener, thanks for stepping into the deep end with us. Keep your doors locked and stay curious. We will see you in the next deep dive.